Hello there, professor and classmates. So today we are going to do an experiment in food microbiology. Today we ask the question, can delicious bread be baked inside of a Dutch oven? My hypothesis thus far, and based on my research, is that yes, you can do it. My personal aim is for a 9 out of 10. I'm going to test this on my boyfriend and see what he thinks. I will not tell him what I think the answer will be, but I don't expect to get a perfect score on my first ever time making bread. But based on the recipe and the reviews I read of it, so other people's research and experimentation, I do think it's possible. Food prep for managers, I learned about mise en place, so I've got everything pretty much mise en place right here. I've got my 1.5 cups of water that will be added to the ingredients at 100 degrees. I'm using my meat or candy thermometer to measure its temperature, and I'll calibrate it too to make sure that it's accurate. My 1/2 tablespoon of sea salt. It's actually Himalayan salt. I don't think that will have a big impact on the outcome. Maybe it'll make it tastier. Maybe it'll make it pink. And I've got my rapid rise, instant, fast acting yeast. And this is the microbial part of the bread experiment where we see how the yeast interacts with the dough, allowing it to rise. This particular recipe needs 2 hours for the dough to rise, where they say it will actually double in size. And that's pretty cool. That will cause my dough to rise, my bread to be tasty and have lots of bubbly air pockets in it. 3 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. There are fancier bread flours you can get for different bread recipes. For this experiment, all-purpose flour is okay. I've got some all-purpose flour I've been waiting to use up. I'm going to use this bowl as well to let my dough sit and rise. So, let's get started. It's always a good idea to read through the entire recipe before you get started, which is what I've done. This is what I'm going for, by the way. This succulent, juicy, crusty, decadent piece of bread. So this is like my research. This is my research and kind of my inspiration for the bread. It is no-knead bread. Preheating the Dutch oven, that's what we're doing now. Forming the loaf. I'll grab my parchment paper once we get further into it. Okay, now that is definitely 100 degrees Fahrenheit. 100 degrees Fahrenheit! In a large bowl, combine your yeast and your warm water very carefully. And now we combine. This is what our yeast mix looks like right now. Very beautiful. Now we go ahead and combine our flour into our mixture and mix together with a wooden spoon until everything is uniformly wet. It seems like a pretty important part, so I'm going to need both hands for this. Let's take note of what the dough looks like right now, and when we're ready to put it in the oven, it should be double that size because of the yeast production. It's not looking super beautiful, but hopefully it makes some tasty bread. I'm gonna say once it reaches this dough mark, it will be double its size.
Do you want to name this timer?
Yes.
What do you want to call it?
Oven.
Okay. I'll call it an oven timer. 1 hour and 30 minutes.
That's-
Starting now.
That's so I remember to preheat the oven because I actually did that preemptively. There's no reason to have a 450 degree oven for 2 hours, so. Hello. Hi. So it's a little bit more than 2 hours later, and that is my bread over there, my dough that is yet to become bread, and for this part, we're just gonna set the dough out on our parchment paper, which I have sprinkled lightly with flour. And we're going to put our bread here, or our dough here. We're going to fold it over a couple times with this silicone spatula. Then we're going to place the entire parchment paper product into the Dutch oven using very handy pot holders, of course. Yummy, yummy. I'm sure this is exactly how you're supposed to get the excess dough out. You do have to be careful because if you handle the dough too much, the bubbles inside the dough will basically be popped, making your bread a little bit denser. What we want, what I like, is loose, fluffy bread. This is the part where I might die, but not if I'm careful. It's 2020. You can set timers on your oven. It's been 35 minutes. That some beautiful, beautiful bread. I'm gonna put it back in the oven. Brown the crust. Hello again. Now it's time to take our freshly browned bread out of the oven. It's honestly not that much browner than it was, but it looks pretty darn good to me. But we still have to do the ever important taste test. So the question here is, can bread that you make at home from a Dutch oven yield a 9 out of 10 from your significant other? It's a question. My hypothesis is yes, it can. Hard. Okay, well, we'll cut it and we'll find out.
Oh, that looks nice.
Looks nice.
Looks delicious.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this bread?
9.
Oh my god! That's what I hypothesized. 9. I'll give it an 8, but 9 is very generous of you.